Hello and welcome to episode 154 of the Mouses Makes Knitting Podcast. My name is Mandy, sometimes known as Mouse, and you may notice some I'd actually forgotten they were there until I sat down to record. I celebrated my birthday last week. Can you guess which one? And I had a lovely day. We went out for brunch, my husband, myself, the two boys, who were both on late shifts, luckily. So we had brunch, the boys went off to work. My husband and I went off to my favourite yarn shop. Then we went to the supermarket, which wasn't so much birthday fun, but hey. And then we came home and I spent some time knitting and watching YouTube. And then my eldest son finished work early on Fridays, and so he and his wife came round and he had made me not one but two birthday cakes. If I can, I'll put some photographs in at the end for you to see. One was a no, it wasn't a hot chocolate fudge cake. It was a chocolate fudge cake, and it was the most delicious cake I've ever tasted in my whole life. Apparently it was a Delia Smith recipe, I think he said. It was delicious. The other was a lemon drizzle cake because he's lactose intolerant and he can't have the chocolate cake. But that was okay. We always do that. We always have a cake that he can eat as well as a cake that everyone else can eat. And obviously we can eat the cake he can eat as well. So that happened. They went off. They were meeting friends for the evening. And Dave said to me, "Are you going on Zoom?" And I was like, "Well, there's no Zoom." Yes. Shepherded me up the stairs, and I came in here to discover that you had sneaked in and put up a banner and a balloon. And I was like, oh, what's he done that for? Anyway, Dave had secretly arranged a Zoom surprise birthday party for me. So hence the decorations, and it was brilliant. We played bingo. It was really, really good fun. So despite my protestations that I didn't want a party, I got one anyway. But it was the ideal kind of party where you don't have to dress up and leave the house. That's my kind of party. Anyway, I wasn't even going to tell you any of that, but as I sat down to record, I saw the banner and I thought I'd better explain. So, whilst we're on the theme, thank you so much everyone who wished me a happy birthday in last week's comments. I did have a birthday weekend. I'm trying to get into my bottle of water. I'm really thirsty, and I've got this sweater on to show you, and it's making me even hotter than I was to begin with, so excuse me a moment while I just have something to drink. Sorry about that. Yes, thank you for birthday wishes. There were a few comments, and I've had a couple of messages suggesting that people can't find things in the shop. And I've had a look. One of the things isn't there. So you will have to email Dave. I've put the link is below. The link to Dave's email address is below in the description box, but I've also put it in a reply to your comment last week. But there are almost, probably more now, 60 different things listed in my Ko-fi shop. So when you go to Ko-fi, if you follow the link in the description box, it takes you to like the title page. If you then click, if you sort of scroll down, you can see some things that are in the shop. But if you click up in the top right hand corner there of that little part of the page, it says go to shop, and that will take you to all the listings, and you just have to scroll through. There are several pages, so you scroll through so many and then you have to click onto the next page. Or if you know the colourway that you're looking for, there's a search box and you can put it in there and that will take you straight to the colourway, assuming you've spelt it the same way I have. So that was just something I wanted to cover quickly while I was thinking about comments. Right. I teased you last week. Sorry, this is a lot of talking before we get to any knitting. I teased you last week that I had something very exciting coming for my birthday, and it was a spinning wheel. I have succumbed and have bought, with some birthday money and some money that I'd saved, an Ashford Kiwi 3 spinning wheel. We are coming to an understanding. Her name is Biddy. Biddy and I are coming to an understanding. There's been a lot of foul language from both of us and wrestling yarn backwards and forwards. But last night, I've been trying to do an hour a day. Last night, it was going well. So I paused and I walked away and I came back to check that I could carry on doing well, and it did work. So, touch wood, I may have cracked it. She may be being a bit kinder to me than she was in the beginning. It didn't help that when I first set it up, I set it up on the fastest spin. That was not helping me a bit. So we have sorted that out. And now it's on the slowest spin. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference to how fast it's going, because that's controlled by what my feet are doing. But the more anxious I get about it not going right, the faster my feet go. It's just a disaster. So I'm trying to train my feet to go slowly and my hands to go more quickly, and we're getting there. So I may have some handspun yarn to show you, possibly next week, maybe not until the week after. We'll see. We'll see how horrible it goes. Right. I'll start with what I've cast on. I was doing some birthday cast-ons, you may remember, and working on my birthday cast-on from last year, which was tea. Well, I should talk about this first. I've done a few rows. I've done, I don't know, 1.5 inches on the tea. I'm just not in a garment knitting mood. Hence the fact I've cast on a load of little things and I'm planning more little things, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I am wearing Sabrina's Nightmare by Megan Regan. I knit this a couple of years ago, I think, and I knit two versions. This one, which is cropped and has short sleeves, and one that is full length and full length sleeves in orange. This one, this is the thing that put me off cropped sweaters, because it doesn't fit me very well. It's a round yoke and it's just too big, and so it goes from a wide point, i.e. my full bust, to another wide point, my hips, top of my hips, missing my waist. So it just makes me look even bigger than I am. So I want to knit it again. There are two versions of the chart. This, I think, I can't remember if it's, no, this is the shorter one, yeah. So what I might do then is knit it again, but leave out the skulls, because this is quite good. And there's, well, you can just see on the sleeve there, there's flea stitches. I might knit it again in a smaller size, but when I get to enough to cover my bust, do some ribbing to cinch it in like I did on my Magpie Tendency, because that's considerably more flattering than this is. But I'll see. I've got plenty of other things to knit. I'm just a bit disappointed that this one in particular, the other one's not so bad because it's a full length, full sleeve jumper. You can throw it on over a t-shirt and jeans and it looks okay. But this one, because I designed it to be short to go over dresses, just makes me feel like an elephant, and I don't wear it as a consequence. It doesn't help either that it has stretched in the washing machine. It's all 100% acrylic, but this green I think was Hayfield Bonus DK, and the black and the white are Stylecraft. The orange one, I mean, all acrylic jumpers give a little bit when you wash them, don't they? The orange one doesn't seem to have grown as badly, but this one has grown quite a lot, and so it's even less flattering than it was to begin with. Anyway, shall we move on to what I'm actually casted on? Casted on? Cast on. I've lost the ability to speak English now. Right, this is a hat, and I am very much enjoying it. I've actually had to stop knitting on it so I don't finish it too quickly, but I am planning to cast on another one. This is, and I couldn't remember what it was called last week. It's called a Twisted Reflection, and this is it. It's got a little bit of stretch in it because that's pearl stitch. So it's a Twisted Reflection, and I'm blanking on who it's by, but it will be in the description box below. And I'm knitting it in a colourway from last year. This was Trick or Treat, but it is back in the shop this year. I re-released them for Halloween. That's really hard to say, re-released. And I'm holding it double because it's a worsted pattern, but there's much debate amongst my friends whether fingering weight held double gives you DK or worsted. And I think it probably depends on the fingering weight, so I'm just calling it worsted. I'm pretty sure the hat's going to fit. It's a bit hard because it's on a small needle, but that's going to fit, isn't it? So when I've finished this one, I will be casting another one on in these two yarns. Whoops. These are again my own hand dyed. I don't know what they are. They were something I did when I was messing about, and they're very grungy and dark. If people like them, and if I have written down what I did, which I tend to do these days, I will dye some more up for the shop. But they're not quite the same. So what I'm going to do is hold a strand of each together to make a hat and some mitts, but not until I finish this one. And because it pleases me to do things on a theme, I bought myself a couple of project bags, and I've got this one. Featuring my grand cat, Arabella. My son and his wife have two cats. The older one is called Zebby, and she's black and white and just adorable and loves her grandma. And the other one is called Arabella, and she's a little bit more standoffish, but she will come and say hello. So I thought these, I mean, this is silly, isn't it? Why do we do this? But they go with the bag. So when I cast on the hat or the mitts, whichever comes first, I will put it in that bag. And the bag is from Candy Skull Crafts on Etsy. She's also Candy Skull Crafts on Instagram. I love that bag. I will get to the other bag that I purchased as well, and some yarn in a minute. Right, let's put this away first. I also cast on some socks. And I'm just, oh, there they are. I couldn't think what I'd done with the socks, and they're there. This is in a bag from Temu. It's Hobie sock yarn. This colourway is, I had to go on and have a look because it's not written on the ball band. This is Shocking, which is colourway 07. and it's knitting up really nicely. And I'm using Crazy Sock Lady's Heel Toe Do-Si-Do pattern. This is the third time I've used this pattern. The first 2 times the sock wouldn't go on my foot, and I didn't discover the second time. I found out quite quickly, but the second time I didn't discover until I was right down ready to do the toe, which made me quite cross, as you can imagine. So this time, I normally do 64 stitches. This time I've gone up to 72. And the Crazy Sock Lady patterns have quite a long leg. And I was going to go for the long leg, but I can't go any longer than this because it won't go up my leg any further than this much above my ankle. So it's going to have to be, oh, nearly took my own eye out then. It's going to have to be this longer leg, which I'm a bit sad about. Unless, and this is why I've not gone any further, I don't know whether to pull it down and go up a needle size, because it's on 2.25 at the moment, and I could go up to 2.5. It would just make a bit of a looser fabric than I typically use, but I think it would be okay. So I might do that. I'm a bit disappointed in pulling it down, but at the same time, I really, really like it. I've looked at other sock patterns I've got. I've thought about doing it vanilla. It looks quite nice vanilla. But blah, blah, rewind. I particularly wanted to do it in this pattern because it just gives that little bit of interest to a striped yarn. So I think I'm going to pull it down and go up a needle size. Yet to be decided. I have got other Hobie Halloween sock yarn, so I want to use the same pattern, so I need to sort it out really, don't I, before I move on to another pair. So I will do that. Then the third thing I cast on, just checking there were only 3. The third thing was the Be Creative mitts by Katerina Dupilli. It's linked below anyway. She's Ducathy. I can't remember her surname. I think it's Dupilli, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So I cast on the bee mitts, and I've got this far. They are colourwork mittens. I'm very distracted again this morning. I'm sorry. Let me show you this side actually, because I've used a variegated blue. It's some of my own hand dyed. It was just a mini for the little flowers at the bottom because I thought they'd look like forget-me-nots. But in actual fact, I'm not sure it's worked very well because on that side it's very pale, and on this side, because it was a variegated yarn, there's some blue splotches, so I'm not sure. But I'm into the main pattern now. And the flower motif sort of follows up with a bee on the back of the palm. I'm knitting it with scraps, apart from the blue, which was a full mini. Everything else is a scrap. The brown that I'm using for the cuff, or all the ribbings really, was left over from my Vertices Unite, and that's my own hand dyed. I'm a bit frustrated that it's a 3x1 rib and it's curling over. I don't know how well I can fix that in blocking, and I'm wishing I'd done a 2x2 rib, which is my preference. But it probably won't matter when it's on my hand, will it? You're not going to see that bit. It'll be inside a coat. So I'm not going to stress about it if it won't block out. The background yarn is this one. And again, that's one of my own. That's Peach Parfait. And the contrast is this one. And this is a Fibre Spates Scrumptious 4-ply in Peach Bellini. I've just realised they're both peach yarns. Huh. And that was left over from my totally cabled mitts. And there wasn't really enough to do anything much with, so I thought putting it in here as a contrast would be a good plan. So, yeah. Peach Bellini and Peach Parfait. I hadn't realised that literally until I said it to you. Oops. Oh yeah, this was the mini. See, when you look at it, it looks quite uniform, and then when you knit with it, there are darker and lighter patches. Never mind. It all adds interest, doesn't it? I may seem like I'm whizzing through this a bit today, and I am, because I need to get to Zoom. Sorry, nice to spend time with you, but I'm off in a minute. Right, I'm taking part in a mystery knit along. It is not the Stephen West mystery knit along this year. It is the Witch's Brew. It's the Witch's Brew by Tellybean Knits. And let me do this under the radar, as it were. I didn't show you my yarns last week, so I'm going to show you my yarns. It's safe for you to look, and then I'll show you the work, and then you can close your eyes if you don't want to see. So you need 6 colours of varying amounts. This is my colour 2, which is a charcoal grey. That's my own hand dyed again. This is my colour 6. Again, my own hand dyed. That's a leftover from something, I think, but I can't remember what. Colour number 1 is hand dyed. It looks like I haven't dyed it, but if you see it against undyed yarn, there's like a faint grey tone to it. So it's a very, very pale grey. Colour 3. This is by Little Mouse House and is left over from my glittering snowscape shawl. That's really hard to say as well. Which was the Hyper Knit Along 2023, Stephen West. This little bit here, this is Brew from Ducky Darlings, and that was a leftover from my Exordium shawl a couple of years ago. And finally, this is Cascade Heritage Highlighter Violet, and that's left over from my Slipstravaganza. So all leftovers. And Dave has made me this. He had a tiny bit of orange leather, and he knows I love orange, and so he made me this tiny little notions pouch. He makes these in a shorter version, about that long, but I asked, could I have a bigger one, because I wanted to be able to put that in there, which is the little key for Knit Pro, and I wanted to leave it on its card so that I didn't lose it, so I needed it to be a little bit bigger. But I'm sure if you wanted one of these, you could email him and ask him for one this size. Right, I'm going to rustle for a second. Mind your ears. I've got them all in bags, labelled with a bit of paper so that I don't confuse myself. Right, I will now show you what we've worked on so far. Today is day 8, and I obviously haven't done day 8 yet. So this is up to day 7. If you are planning to make it, but you've not started because you want to wait till all the clues are out, or you haven't done day 7 yet, or for whatever reason, and you don't want to see it, look away now. Okay, final warning, I'm about to show it. So this is what we've got so far. I think I just had this first section when I showed you last time. Right, it's gone. You're safe to look now. I need to put a progress marker on it so I know when I showed you last. We joined in the round on, oh no, I won't tell you just in case that spoils it for somebody. And Denise, a few of us in the group are doing this MKAL. A few of us are doing Stephen West's MKAL, and some of us are doing both. Denise is doing this one as well, and she went to try it on yesterday and it will only just go over her head. So that's a bit of a worry. So I immediately tried mine on, but mine is okay. It's going to be quite snug to my neck, but it will go on. So there's that. Phew. Right. I've got some cast-ons planned. I've decided I wasn't well. And I kind of lost my knitting mojo a bit when I wasn't well. And when it came back, I just didn't really want to knit on anything that I had cast on, apart from blankets. And that's, oh sorry, I just saw a really pretty leaf in the garden. Squirrel. It's not very exciting for you if all I knit is blankets. So, I thought I would cast some new things on. Some Halloweeny, Octobery, autumny things, because that's my favourite thing to knit, especially at the moment. They're all small projects, all fast finishes, so I'm hoping that will kick-start the knitting mojo. If it doesn't, I've got some similar things to knit next month, because next month I want to start knitting my Christmas themed things. So the whip pile may not be going down, but at least I'm getting things knitted. Is that the correct tense? I don't think it is. At least I'm knitting on things and they're getting finished. Or they will get finished. It's early days. I'm going to shut up. I'm tying myself in knots. Why do I do this? Anyway. I told you I'd bought another project bag. It's this. It was made by Tracy at Wool and Wishes, and you can see she's got her little Crafty Valentine label on there. I said I was going to cast on another pair of Halloweeny socks. Oh, there's some labels in, not labels, stickers inside. And they're going to go into this bag because this will kind of go with the yarn, which I can't reach at the moment. It's over there. So this will be the next Halloweeny sock project bag. And then, as if I hadn't treated myself enough with a spinning wheel and project bags and wool from Hobie, Diane from Enquiries Yarncraft put out a podcast and showed the things that were going into her shop update. Now, I love Diane's yarn. I keep telling everybody, when I started dyeing yarn, I expected my yarn to come out like Diane's, and it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And I love her project bags. I think I've got 4 of them now. So I didn't want to buy yet another project bag because I have got plenty of project bags. Even that, see this is what I do when I'm getting a bit anxious. Even though I have many projects, I still have spare project bags. I don't need to make or buy anymore. I say make because when we went to the yarn shop, they've now got quite an extensive fabric section, and Dave was going, oh well, look, they've got, and I was like, I'm not looking at the fabric. Underneath my desk, you're sitting on my desk, is a crate. I think in America you call them totes. It's about that big, full of fabric. I do not need to buy any more fabric. I don't need to buy any more wool, yet I persist in doing it, but never mind. Never mind that. Move on. Right. So Diane from Enquiries Yarncraft showed what was going into her shop update. And I immediately messaged her and said, can I please have this one? This is caked up because it's going to be a magpie tendency. I mean, look at that. Those are so my favourite colours, and they just scream autumn. Although I will probably wear this all year round. Maybe not in the height of summer, because who wants to wear wool then? But yeah, because this is called Firefox, and foxes are not exclusive to Halloween at all, are they? Or autumn? I just love it. It's beautiful. There was much debate about what I was going to make with this yarn, and I decided a magpie tendency because I could use it all. I can add some black to it to do the like the saddle shoulder bits, and yeah, I knew I wanted to knit another magpie tendency. I've actually got some of my own hand-dyed yarn caked up to make one in green and black, so there could be two coming later in the month. So that was one, and I've caked that one up because I want to get that cast on fairly soon. And this was the other, and this is called The Grinch. Now, my current obsession, all the yarn that I've bought has been either Halloween or Christmas themed, because that is my current obsession. So of course I had to have a autumnal, not really Halloween, and a Christmas one. So this will be a magpie tendency next month, because it might be a bit much to wear over my green dress, but I can wear it over a black dress, and it is very Christmassy. And then because Diane is just wonderful, she always sends a little something along with her order. I assume she does it for everybody. I'm going to link her Etsy shop and her podcast down below, because if you watch her podcast, she shows what's going to go into her shop updates, and yeah, I've got to stop watching her podcast. So she also sent me this little mini, which, now I look at it, I could have used that for the flowers in my bee mittens, couldn't I? That would have been better, but never mind. I've started, so I'll finish, as Magnus Magnusson would have said. That probably means nothing to anybody who's watching from outside this country. There will be many other colour work projects coming, because I pre-ordered, and it's coming today. What's it called? Is it the Doodle Directory? By Pacific Knit Co. So she does these little doodle decks, and she's brought out a book, and I pre-ordered it, and it is coming today. I must have ordered it a month ago, if not longer. So yeah, colour work will feature, I suspect, for a little while. Right. I'm going to warn you about future cast-ons while I'm about it. I've already told you about the magpie tendency and the mitts and the hats that I'm going to make in that unnamed yarn. I've got more Hobie Halloween sock yarn that I want to cast on, but I've also got these two that are my own. Actually, let me pause while I uncrinkle them. There's no point in them being in bags. Okay, I've decrinkled them. I don't know whether I want to do mitts or socks with them. The 50 gram skeins are 85-25, and so they're very, very soft. I'm not sure that 50 grams, it would be enough for a hat, wouldn't it? anyway, these are the sock sets that went into the shop for Halloween, and these are my favourite too. So there's pumpkin, which obviously has got my favourite oranges and greens. I love these greens. I might have to do that one as full skeins. I could do them all as full skeins, come to that. And then this one, this one is jack-o'-lantern. So there's a variegated blue, which is, you know, but this, I don't know how well that's coming out. Let me take myself out. No, that doesn't work because my hair's still in. It's got this caramelly colour that I love, and this almost neon yellowy green, and there are some blue speckles. Again, I don't know, mitts even. Mitts or socks, I just don't know. It might be a bit much as a hat, mightn't it? It might be. That one won't be too bad as a hat. I'm making my fringe all full of static now, you wait. That wouldn't be too bad, would it? It's almost the same colour as my hair. Well, not the green, obviously. Sorry, that's not very attractive, is it? Making my piggy face. Trying to see through my varifocal glasses through the wrong bit of the screen lens, even. So, at some point this month, I want to get those cast on as well. Put them down. There's going to be a crinkle. Crinkle over. Okay. That is everything. It's been a bit of a rush. I am sorry. I am sorry, but yeah, I did rush a bit. So, you have been prepared. Oh, I know what I must tell you. I'm waiting for start again. Arrange the sentence into a logical order before letting it out. The Advent sock sets went out a couple of weeks ago. Last week? Doesn't matter. Most of them have reached their destination. I'm just waiting for 2 to get where they need to go. One in Australia, one in America. And once they've done that, so I know everyone has got their sock set, I did dye up 2 spare this year. So they will be going into the shop all ready to go. Depending, it shouldn't be longer than a week, I wouldn't have thought. So if you wanted them and you were in the US, you should be able to get them in time for, because the first one's due to be opened on the 1st of December. Although you don't have to open them then, you can open them whenever you like. I'm not the boss of you. You can do your own thing. But they're labelled to be opened on the 1st, the 8th, the 15th and the 22nd, I believe. I was trying to do maths then. I think that's right. But they've got a label on, so don't worry about it. Yes, so the easiest way to know when they go into the shop, if you missed them and you want one, is to follow me. If you follow the link to the Ko-fi shop and then just click follow, it should email you when I put anything in the shop, because they won't wait until the shop update. I'll put them in as soon as I know everything's got where it needs to go and I don't need the spares, to make sure that people can get them in time if they want them for Advent. I'm hoping to send out the mini skein Advents next Monday. So again, there will be one extra, assuming they all get safely to where they need to go, and I will put that in the shop as soon as I know everything's got where it needs to be. They are a bit later than the others because I was waiting for something to come, and that thing has now come, so I can get them packaged. They're 3/4 of the way packaged. I've got 6 days left to package, then box them up, and then they can go. So they'll be going Monday and Tuesday, I think. So yeah, so there may be, hopefully nobody's gets lost, maybe one of the mini skein advents going into the shop as well. Right, that I'm sure is everything. And if it's not, it's my own fault. And now we're up to 40 minutes. I was going to be quick. I was going to keep it to half an hour, but I couldn't help but waffle, could I? Right, I'm going to go now. I'm very, very hungry all of a sudden. I don't know why. The weather is absolutely like the end of the world out there. It's trying to be sunny. It's very, very windy. We've actually been under a tornado warning here in Somerset all weekend, which is just madness. And we've had bouts of really heavy rain. There's been some ordinary rain in between times, but mostly it's just bucketed down, and it does that for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then it stops again. So everywhere's flooded because the water's coming down so fast it hasn't got time to drain away. Plus we've had quite a bit of wet weather, so everywhere's just saturated anyway. Yeah, it's fun and games here at the moment, but other parts of the world have got much worse as far as weather conditions go, so I'm not going to moan. I think we're catching the very edge of a hurricane, and other people have, you know, had it full force and lost their lives and lost their homes, and, you know, wildfires in other parts of the world. The world just needs to get its act together and put some rain where there's fires and some drier weather where there's hurricanes and flooding. And why can it not just balance itself out? Because we ruined it. Right, that's another rant for another day. Okay. I'm going to go now and continue my questioning of Mother Nature alone, and do some knitting and get a coffee. That might be what I'm missing. A coffee and a biscuit is probably why I've become a bit ranty and rambly. Okay, so I'll see you next week. Trying to work out if I'll have finished the MKAL by then. It's 13 days. Possibly. Today's day 8. I've got to do maths again. I need my fingers. Hang on. Today is Tuesday as I'm recording this, and it's day 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Monday. No, today is Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It should be finished by the time I see you next. That'd be good. Assuming I've kept up with the clues, which I've managed to do so far. Takes about 2 hours a day, which is why not a lot of other knitting has been completed, but I am enjoying it. So I shall now go, like I keep saying I'm going to, and find coffee and then ramble at my friends rather than you guys, because they can mute me and just wander off if they want to. So I'll see you next week. Bye guys.